As part of the motorsports community, we too share your grief and together mourn the loss of our dear friends. Alan Kulwicki epitomized the American dream. 8 years ago, he moved south from his native Wisconsin with little more than a pickup truck and a pocket full of dreams, but soon earned the respect and admiration of his peers. Through tireless effort and sacrifice, he convinced crew members, competitors, and eventually an entire country that he was a winner. In 1992, November, a little over 5 months ago, the ultimate underdog wrote the final chapter in his rags to riches journey as he captured the Winston Cup Championship along with the hearts of millions of race fans around the world. Yes, Alan Kulwicki is gone, but the legacy of his miraculous climb to the pinnacle of motorsports will stand as an inspiration to all for years to come. Who better to comment on the loss of a champion than our own two-time NASCAR champion, Ned Jarrett.
Jerry Alan Kulwicki has certainly left us with a tremendous amount of respect and inspiration. Inspiration for his fellow man and for a lot of race drivers. Many of the Busch Series drivers that we see racing today have been inspired by what they've seen Alan Kulwicki accomplish over the years, going from the short tracks in the Midwest to becoming the Winston Cup champion. They feel that the same opportunities are there for them that was there for him. And it's tough to lose Alan, certainly, but it's comforting to know that he is leaving us with a legacy and an inspiration that will live on for many years to come, and no doubt will have a profound effect on a lot of race drivers' careers, especially those who feel themselves as underdogs.
6 years ago, I was just a little guy with a dream that moved down south with a pickup truck and a trailer. After running a few NASCAR races and dreaming about it for 10 years, I thought, well, maybe I was ready to take a stab at it.
What Alan Kulwicki did with that pickup trailer, one race car, 2 engines, and mostly volunteer pit crew and some financial help from Quincy's, was win the 1986 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. Alan spent the next 4 years building his team practically one wheel at a time, so it's no wonder that in 1991, when he had no sponsor, he didn't bail out and go drive for another team like he had offers to do. He stuck with it because he felt a certain responsibility to the people who had helped him build his team. Lo and behold, Hooters comes along and gives the team enough money to compete competitively. And Alan Kulwicki and his team of underdogs winning the 1992 Winston Cup Championship will never be forgotten.
I have been the underdog a lot of my career. You know, I didn't start out choosing to do it this way. It just sort of happened. And I started my own team out of necessity. And when there weren't any other offers, just kept building it up and got to the point where I just had too much invested in it, emotionally and financially, to give up on it. And, you know, there's more things to life than just money and getting paid money to win races and drive cars. And there's, you know, the goal is to win races and a championship, and there's a lot of satisfaction in doing it this way. And if I've been an underdog, or if I've been an example to a lot of the little guys out there, then I'm proud to fill that role. I hope that when 1993 is over, that people at Winston, the people at NASCAR, and the competitors all look back and say, we were proud to have him represent us as our champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
Now it is time to race as we get set to watch other young drivers pursue their dreams. The field of 34 Busch-Grant National competitors has roared to life.
In the Budweiser 250, a tough grind here on this high banks of the Bristol International Raceway, always an exciting event.
There's one young man who hopes to someday become a champion, and yesterday's qualifying effort could certainly catapult him in that direction. For more, here's our John Kernan. Well, Jerry, yesterday, Ward Burton set a new track qualifying record for all NASCAR divisions when he turned the Bristol International Raceway at 15.607 seconds. But Ward says he has somewhat mixed feelings about setting that new record because he broke the record set last spring by Alan Kulwicki in his Winston Cup car. But like Alan, Ward also has dreams of one day winning the ultimate in motorsports, the Winston Cup Championship. And Ward says Alan truly is an inspiration to him and all the other drivers competing in the race today. It is Ward Burton's third career pole, all three being track records. What an impressive future this young man should have. We'll be back with the starting lineup and the green flag as we get set for Busch Grand National Racing NASCAR style from Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee. Back after this.
You've seen it before. The ones who run with the herd, and the one who always seems to run alone. You don't see him often enough, though.
We welcome you back to Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee. Site of today's NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Budweiser 250. It is stop number 5 on the 28-race $6 million tour for 1993. Our Speedwell coverage being brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. By Kubota Tractor Corporation. And by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for today's 250-lap event. You already have met the pole sitter on the front row, Ward Burton, a brand new track record at 122.9 miles per hour. He is flanked by Winston Cup veteran Terry Labonte. Back in row 2, Todd Bodine, former winner. He won here last August, and Jeff Burton, a former pole sitter at Bristol, Tennessee. Back to row 3, starting 5th and 6th will be Mark Martin, a two-time winner in 1993, and alongside him, the younger brother of Rusty Wallace, Mike Wallace. Then row 4, Larry Pearson, a two-time national champion, and last week's winner at Darlington, Robert Presley. Back to row 5, Michael Waltrip and Ricky Craven. Row 6, Rodney Combs and Chuck Mount.
And in row 7 is Roy Payne, a rookie, and the only lady driver in the field, Shauna Robinson. Row 8, we'll see Jason Keller, another rookie, and Tracy Leslie. Row number 9 is Steve Grissom, former winner in this series, and Jeff Green trying to get his first win, and Nathan Butke, 17 years old, just a young fellow out here trying to make his mark in this tough grind, and then Lester.
David Green, our point leader, and Harry Gann in row 11. Joe Ruttman and Tom Peck back in row 12. Rows 13 and 14, Jim Bound and Joe Bessie. Jimmy Spencer drives the Jack Ingram car back in row 14 along with Butch Miller.
We see Tommy Houston far back in the field, and the 1992 Busch champion Joe Nemechek starting in row 15. There's another of the rookies, Herbie Sadler, starting back in row 16 along with Jack Sprague, and rounding out the field, the 34-car field, Bobby Dotter and Tim Fedor. Tim Fedor, another rookie.
As we did last week at Darlington Raceway, we'll be riding along with Mark Martin, the Winn-Dixie in-car camera, and the Winn-Dixie sponsored Ford Thunderbird out of the Jack Roush stable. Mark Martin, starting back in 5th position, has led more laps in Busch Series competition. Yes, I said Busch Series competition in 1993 than anyone, and he has won twice in 4 starts. Getting set for the green flag. 250 laps here at Bristol International Raceway, 133.25 miles. $207,000. Beautiful day in Tennessee. Good crowd on hand at Larry Carrier's beautiful facility here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Glad to have you with us. Getting set for the green flag to be waved by Carl Simmons, the head out of turn 4.
Trouble already. Larry Pearson gets tapped and is spun into the inside wall. Caution is out on the very first lap. And a crash up here in turn 4 as well.
A couple of cars spinning out of turn 4, and Roy Payne, the former ARCA Rookie of the Year, gets involved. Shauna Robinson, she spins. As those cars trying to get slowed down, get tapped from behind. Shauna gets the car back in line, as does Roy Payne. And now Larry Pearson trying to back his Chevrolet, the Stanley Tool Chevrolet, the Mac Martin-owned car, away from the back pit wall.
Larry was not feeling well this morning. He has a flu, and Chad Little was standing by to relieve for him just in case he needed it, but he didn't get to go far enough to see if he was going to need it.
There's the 36-year-old second-generation driver, Larry Pearson, sitting in that Stanley Tools Chevrolet Lumina. Let's see if we can take a look and see exactly what happened to Larry Pearson here just a moment ago at the green flag.
Well, the cars are bumped up pretty tightly, Jerry, as they come off of turn 2. And it looks like, I don't know if he got a tap or if maybe he just got up a little bit high there and lost it. But anyway, he spun around down to the inside, hit the inside retaining wall.
Well, it's hard enough to drive this track when you are feeling 100%. Larry Pearson, as you said, Ned, has had the flu the last couple of days, and it is considerably warmer today than it was yesterday, where the temperatures were hovering around freezing here with wind chills approximating 0. Well, it's a beautiful afternoon as we have the early laps trying to get green flagged in Bristol, Tennessee, as we're into the first caution flag of the day for a spin off of turn 2 by Larry Pearson. Back with more Busch Series racing after this.
The new G-Series with 4-wheel steering from Kubota.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
High above the Bristol International Raceway, our aerial coverage courtesy of the Family Channel blimp. Take a look at this half-mile track, 0.533 miles to be exact. The pole speed, a record 122.9 miles an hour, time 15.6 seconds. 250 laps, field separation is 1.3 seconds. A very symmetrical racetrack, one of the most exciting short tracks in all of America. Highlighted by those steep banks in both ends. Turns 1 and 2 bank 36 degrees, Ned.
And even the straightaways are banked pretty well, too. 16 degrees on the backstretch here. That's as much as we see on a lot of other racetracks, 650 feet down the backstretch.
Not much of a chance to catch your breath in 650 feet. Turns 3 and 4, likewise banked at 36 degrees. And you come roaring off of turn 4 to 16-degree banks in the front straightaway. And again, a very short front straight, symmetrical track at 650 feet. As we get set to roar back to the green flag, showing 5 laps complete, Ward Burton is our leader.
Off to a little bit of a slow start. Here comes Podgodine up on the outside trying to take the lead, but now Burton gets some power and just bursts right back out in front.
Ward Burton, one of just a handful of drivers, 4 drivers on Hoosier tires.
Jerry, the record he set here in qualifying was exactly a half a second faster than the outside pole sitter, Terry Labonte. That's unheard of, really, in short track competition. A lot of people felt that the Hoosier tires helped him to attain that speed. They were wondering how long, if they're soft enough to run that kind of a speed, how long will they run at the speeds they're running in the race? Well, time will tell. They did a lot of testing up here and feel very comfortable with the tires.
We know they're fast, but the big question mark, John Kernan, is will the Hoosier tires last?
Well, Jerry, just before the race started, I talked with Ward. He said he was up here a couple of weeks ago with the Hoosier car, and doing a lot of testing. They ran 50 laps on one set of tires. He said they didn't fall off that much, so he doesn't think he's got a problem. Right now, though, he may have a potential problem in the engine department. He has radioed in to crew chief Freddie Fryer and says he's having a motor problem, but he doesn't know what the problem is. So we will need to keep an eye on Ward Burton.
We'll watch Ward Burton, but a good battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. Mike Wallace in the car number 9, getting a challenge from last week's winner, Robert Presley, in the Alliance Training Center's Chevrolet. Presley makes the move, and now behind them, it looks like Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac will try to take the spot away.
Well, he couldn't get under him going into the turn. This is a tough track to pass on, especially, Jerry, the first race of the year. Oh, they get together, and Mike Wallace spins to the outside. Just a little bit of a tap from Michael Waltrip, and here's another car spinning down on the inside.
Joe Ruttman almost head-on into the inside concrete wall and separates pit road. Ruttman spinning the car number 20. Tough break for the Fina-Lube Chevrolet driver, and we're seeing caution for the second time in less than 15 laps, all beginning because of a spin. I think he had a little help up there coming off turn 4. We're talking about Mike Wallace.
Well, we're watching that race between Michael Waltrip and Michael Wallace. We'll look at it again as they come off of turn 4. You can see very close running, and just a little bit of a tap gets the back end loose on Mike Wallace's car. He tries to correct it, and he shoots right into the outside wall. Michael Waltrip gets on by, but then Joe Ruttman apparently slows down. Somebody maybe taps him from the rear and shoots him down into the inside retaining wall.
Let's look at a different angle. I'm not, let's see if Michael actually hit him. Talking about Michael Waltrip. I don't think Michael actually hit him. Let's see if we can see there. It looks like,
oh, they're awfully close together.
I think we owe Michael Waltrip an apology. No. Michael did not touch him. Mike Wallace's car just broke loose back there. That's the Barry Owens-owned FTP Brakes Chevrolet. And so our apologies to the Pennzoil team and Michael Waltrip. He did not touch him. It looked like it from the angle we had atop. That's why we have so many different cameras and can bring you the other angles. And so Michael Wallace has his car heavily damaged on pit road, but probably the more heavily damaged of the cars involved was the car that tried to spin to avoid that accident, and that is the Joe Ruttman machine.
Yes, his car came off the high side of the track and hit pretty hard down on the inside retaining wall.
Now, a minute ago, John Kernan said there might be a problem internally in the engine compartment of the Hardee's Buick of Ward Burton. John, let's check in with you.
Well, Jerry, immediately after I found that out, Ward was running far enough in front of Todd Bodine to listen to the motor, and yes, it sounded like he was only running on 5 cylinders. They have switched ignition boxes. That has not helped it. They think that maybe they've broken a valve spring.
Boy, if he's running that quick on a broken valve spring, I want to have a chat with his engine builder. We're in the early laps here at Bristol, Tennessee. 15 laps complete. Our top 10, Ward Burton showing the way here after 15 of 250 laps. Back with more exciting Busch Grand National Series racing after this.
Most of our customers come to AutoZone for low prices and for parts they can replace themselves. But many people come because we speak their language. Things like duration and lift and compression ratios, stuff like that. Because a guy who's going to rebuild an engine, he won't buy parts from just anybody. And since AutoZone stocks complete engines, we know what makes them tick inside and out. Sure, we sell our best parts at our best prices every day. But if we know something that's going to help you do the job right, you get that free.
Hey, Mike, hand me my channel lock pliers.
Tommy, give me that plier over there with the blue handles. What kind of pliers is that? These are channel lock tone and groove pliers. My dad uses them on his race car, too.
For the tough jobs and the small jobs, reach for Channel Lock, the handiest plier of them all.
Hey, guys, anybody seen the channel lock pliers?
Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock pliers. Look for this trademark.
A shower of sports in April on ESPN. Bouncing, tip, score! All in April on ESPN.
We have just gone back to the green flag race Racing in Bristol, Tennessee, and on the restart, Todd Bodine made a move to the outside, and it looked like Ward Burton's car was a little bit sluggish coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, definitely didn't get up to speed. As a matter of fact, it's sluggish on the straightaway, and what John Vernon was pointing out there, apparently he is not up to full power, but boy, does that thing go through the corners. He is really flying through the turns. I doubt if he's even lifting much. They're pulling him on the straightaway, but then he picks it back up in the turns.
Show you a minute ago what happened while we were just coming out of break. See, there's Todd Bodine making a move to the outside. Burton's car just not coming up to speed when the green flag fell, so he lost the lead. Pretty good battle back in the pack here for car number 14, Terry Labonte. That's 5th, 6th, and 7th. Labonte in 5th spot. 6th spot is Jeff Burton. And in 8th spot, now Robert Presley beginning to climb his way in wall toward the front.
Presley's car was awfully fast in practice this morning. Now we're back on the leaders as Todd Bodine running on his full 6 cylinders, having a tough, and with the spin here on the front straightaway is Tommy Houston in the Rosie Store Ford. He makes a 360 and continues on.
No caution flag as Houston looped it around a la Joey Chitwood style.
And he went a lap down.
Lost a lap, got it righted, and headed back in the right direction, right beneath the flagman there. But no yellow flag. Here's the car number 98 of Jim Bound. Jim Bound, a pole sitter last year at Hickory Speedway, had some pretty good runs, running without a sponsorship in 1993. Take a look again at what happened to Tommy Houston just a minute ago.
Well, as they were coming off of turn 4, he was in some very heavy traffic, Jerry, and the back end gets loose. Now, whether he had a little help there or not, don't know, but he just made a 360 and kept going, but the leaders were right there, so he went a lap down.
Todd Bodine opening up about a 10-car length separation between himself and the second-place car of Ward Burton. Ward, our pole sitter, and right behind Ward, about 4 car lengths, is Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie Ford Thunderbird. Here's Joe Bessie in the Auto Palace sponsored car number 97, a rookie this year in Busch Grand National Racing, and Jimmy Spencer in the car number 10. That's a car owned by Jack Ingram. Spencer trying to make a move inside of Bessie in turn 3.
Ooh, and
contact, and they slam in the wall right behind him. Butch Miller. Roy Payne is involved. Hermie Sadler got on the brakes. He may have escaped, but heavy damage. And Jimmy Spencer's car, actually Jack Ingram's car, being driven by Jimmy Spencer's, looks to be almost totally destroyed. The car is moving, though, down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, it is. It's going the wrong way, but at least the engine is pulling it. And Butch Miller sitting up on the... Here it is again as they go into turn 3, and Spencer tries to go to the inside, and Bessie started to follow his normal groove around there, and they get together, and those other cars running so fast and so close, they came in there. There was nowhere for them to go.
Joe Bessie, the 1992 Busch Grand National North runner-up in the car number 97. Look again at Spencer. He already has a little bit of sheet metal damage in the front of that Chevrolet. Left rear quarter panel of Joe Bessie, and they both go sliding in the wall. Butch Miller, the car number 75, the Charlie Henderson-owned car, had nowhere to go. The track completely blocked. He had to be running at, over 115 miles an hour when he slammed in there. Good move by Hermie Sadler to miss him. Look again now from the Family Channel blimp at what happened.
Okay, it looked like there was room for Spencer to go under him there, and he took that opportunity, but Bessie made his normal line into the turn like he would if he was running by himself, not knowing that Spencer had stuck his nose up under there, and contact was made, and away they went.
Tough break for Joe Bessie and Jimmy Spencer. Both cars running extremely well. Spencer was coming to the front in a hurry. He had qualified back in 27th position. You see the fluid running from beneath Butch Miller's car. Take a look at Butch Miller. They're 40 years of age. The Food Country USA Oldsmobile. That car based right here, right outside of Bristol, Tennessee, owned by Charlie Henderson. A car that had won previously in Busch Series racing. That car has won here at Bristol a few years back with Rick Wilson driving. A lot of fluid leaking from beneath that machine as we are under caution for the 3rd time today. We are still in the early laps here at Bristol, Tennessee for the Budweiser 250 Busch Grand National Series race. Glad to have you with us on a beautiful day in Tennessee.
I'm Coach Kathy Inglis. As a basketball coach, I spend a lot of time traveling through Vermont in the winter. And with all the mountains, dirt roads, and snow, we all know what a challenge that can be. I want something that I can rely on no matter what the road conditions. And that's Subaru. It's what to drive. The all-wheel versatility of the Subaru means that it's remarkably easy to handle no matter what the weather. Visit Twin City Subaru, Vermont Subaru Source, Route 2 in Montpelier. Twin City Subaru would like to remind you,
please don't drink and drive.
It's time to gear up for fishing season, and your complete fishing outfitters is Knight Sports Center in Essex Junction. Knight's has a complete fly fishing department where you'll find Sage Graphite, Loomis, IMX, and Cortland fly rods, fly tying materials, plus waders, vests, and rain gear. For lake fishing, Knight's has an outstanding selection of lures and spoons, downriggers by Big John, and electronics by Eagle and Lowrance. Knight's carries rods and reels by Shimano, Daiwa, and St. Croix, plus all the lures and terminal tackle you'll ever need. Knight Sports Center for all your fishing needs. Pearl Street, Essex Junction.
2 teams will enter the rink, but only one will emerge as the national champion. The NCAA Hockey Championships, tonight at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN.
We welcome you back to Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Budweiser 250. We are showing 31 laps, make it 32 laps in the books, and we already have 3 caution flags for heavy damage. Folks, welcome to Bristol, Tennessee, one of those high-bank, exciting racetracks that certainly lives up to its reputation.
Well, there's always a lot of excitement on this racetrack. You can see the caution there. Now, just ahead of what we were watching when this happened, Jimmy Spencer trying to make a move on Joe Bessie on the inside going into turn 3, and Spencer dives in there. A little bit of an opening, but Bessie closes the door going into the turn. So we have seen what happened there. Butch Miller came in, got involved. Roy Payne was involved. There's Butch Miller hitting hard. There's Roy Payne in the blue and white car number 27. Hermie Sadler in car number 25. Very good driving, as you pointed out, Jerry, and he got stopped. But now in front of this, Nathan Budke was having a problem.
Up at the top of your screen, the white car veers abruptly across the racetrack, tags the concrete. Now take a look at the action going on behind him over to the right top of your screen. That's the incident in turn 3 as the Nathan Budke car comes careening down across the racetrack, the young rookie driver. So there was action at 2 different turns at the same time.
And neither had nothing to do with the other. It's just coincidental that they happened, one in turn 3 and the other one in turn 4.
NASCAR safety crews continuing to clean up in turns 3 and 4. So we'll take a break while we're under caution, get a commercial in, and come back with some more exciting green flag racing NASCAR style from Thunder Valley.
I use Valvoline motor oil. It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The Suzuki GSXRs. First, they win more road races than any production motorcycle in history. Then, we put a license plate on them. The new liquid-cooled GSXRs, now available in 600, 750, and 1100 octane.
America's first choice. Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome to Napa, America's most complete source for quality auto parts and accessories. And now get hot spring buys at Napa. Quality Napa motor oil, just 99 cents a quart. Get 2 Napa Silverline oil filters, just $4. STP oil treatment is free after double mail-in rebate. And don't miss this special value. Napa's 5-piece cooler combo, just $19.99. Save big on hot spring buys now at Napa, America's first choice.
Our aerial coverage of Bristol International Raceway, courtesy of the Family Channel Blimp. The Family Channel Blimp measures 132 feet in length and has a capacity to accommodate up to 4 passengers along with the pilot. 5 if you don't take the pilot, we wouldn't recommend that. 4 plus the pilot, and they're on a 1993 Goodwill Tour, and they will be visiting a number of major sporting events, and we are happy to have them right here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Tennessee, hovering over Bristol International Raceway. Once again, watch this from the blimp high above. Watch the car number 25, Hermie Sadler, the rookie driver, come in and get through this mess, Ned.
There's Butch Miller coming in the car number 75, hitting hard, but here's the black car of Hermie Sadler, the rookie, right in the middle of it, gets the car stopped, has the presence of mind to wait till they split, and then just drives away. Well, I tell you, rookie, that's pretty impressive.
Young man still on the lead lap. Hermie Sadler started back in 32nd spot, just 23 years of age, out of Virginia. The Virginia is for lovers Oldsmobile, the car owned by Don Beverly. He said they like the number 25 because next year, the 25th anniversary of that slogan in the state of Virginia. Hermie Sadler doing a heck of a move there early on. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, you know, Jerry, talking with Hermie, all the success that he has had this year so far, he says it's because of the crew, because of Don Beverly and those guys. They really know how to set that race car up. Gives him a lot of confidence because he knows he needs a lot of lap time on these racetracks. Because basically, he's only seen them on television before. But I tell you what, that move he made right there shows that he's going to be one heck of a race car driver, and he is learning his lessons well every week.
There are 6 rookies in the field, John. He is one of them. And what a great crop of rookies they've got in Busch Series racing. We talk about the Winston Cup rookies with Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon. But what about the rookies they've got here in Busch Grand National Series competition, Ned?
They had a total of 10 to sign up for Rookie of the Year honors. Only 6 made this field here for today, but they are very, very impressive.
Still under caution at Bristol International Raceway. We'll have more green flag racing in the Budweiser 250 when we come back after this. Stay with us.
Come on in to Willie Racine's Jeep, Eagle, and Isuzu, Shelburne Road, South Burlington.
Want to build customer loyalty? We've got customer loyalty. We've got sports nuts, movie lovers, infomaniacs, and cartoon fanatics. We've got networks that talk to moms, teens, men, kids. From Main Street to Madison Avenue, more advertisers are turning to cable. Want to build your brand of business? Check out our brand of TV. Cable TV. America's sold on cable.
Every day, call the ESPN Update. Follow your favorite teams and breaking sports news and scores from the world of baseball, pro basketball, and hockey.
And a good crowd on hand under clear skies here in Bristol, Tennessee at Bristol International Raceway. They're getting set to enjoy, as you are, more exciting Busch Grand National Series racing action. Todd Bodine, our leader, young man who won here at Bristol last August, picking up his 4th career win, his 3rd in the 1992 season. They will double file restart. Unlike the Winston Cup cars, in Busch Series racing, the fast cars will start on the inside line, the slower or lap cars starting up high. Here's the Ford Thunderbird pace car, pulling down off the 36-degree banks in turn 4 as they head to the green flag, once again being waved by Carl Simmons.
And once again, the car number 2, the Hardee's Buick of Ward Burton, off to a very slow start. The car just simply won't take off too good. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Ned, right now they think it may not be a valve spring. They think it just could be a plug wire. So what they hope to do is run to the halfway point, head to caution at that point in time, come in, check the plug wire. Now you may say at home, why didn't they do it during that caution period? Because of track position. We've seen what's happened with the wrecks and the like. They need to stay up front. And they also say the car is handling perfectly. That's what is enabling more to keep them running in the 3rd spot right now.
Certainly the car is handling perfectly, John. I don't think I've ever seen a car go through the corners like that car is here at Bristol today.
And with the plug wire missing, he's got a V5, not a V6. He's running on 5 cylinders, so with 5 cylinders, he's running 2nd here in a very competitive race. Or actually 3rd right now as Mark Martin is taking the 2nd spot away.
Well, he just hopes there aren't too many cautions so he doesn't have too many restarts, because he loses the position on each restart. Once he gets up to speed, he can do okay. But now he's having a little bit of trouble with Jack Sprague. Sprague outruns him on the straightaway. Now he gets around him in the turn.
Sprague is one of the lap cars. He is not really a concern, but one of the cars that should be a concern that's coming in a hurry would be the Robert Presley machine. Here's a battle between Tracy Leslie in the car number 72. Harry Gant was behind him in the Buick, and Jason Keller, one of the rookie drivers. That's 11th, 12th, and 13th. Gant was being shown in 13th spot. He's picking them off one at a time. That's Gant in the car number 7. That mustard yellow machine. Ed Whitaker on car. In front of him, the Detroit Gasket Oldsmobile of Tracy Leslie.
Gant just looking for a place to pass. He's looked on the outside, then on the inside. And here's more trouble. Jack Sprague in the South America car has gotten into the wall on the high side of the track on turn 4.
Jack Sprague.
Now, he was the car that we saw a moment ago that Ward Burton had a little trouble to pass for a couple of laps, and then Ward was able to get by him because Jack had more speed on the straightaway, and Ward had a little bit more speed in the turn, so it took him a few laps to get by. So the action continues here.
Take a look at once again, see if we can see what happened from the shot at our start-finish line. Look at the top of your picture. You see Sprague's car has already looped around. A lot of smoke coming from those tires as they back up against the concrete. Jack Sprague in the car number 74, 28 years of age, the Robert Hamke prepared car, owned by Bill Bumgardner.
Well, it's a brightly painted car, one of the brightest cars on the racetrack.
And while we're under caution once again for the 4th time today, we'll take a quick break so we don't miss any of the green flag racing action from exciting Thunder Valley, Bristol International Raceway. Back with more after this.
No place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Beer.
For many, the search for the world's greatest tuna sandwich ends when they discover Subway's Tuna Sub right here at Subway. One taste of the combination of our famous fresh-baked bread, chunk-laid tuna, and any or all of our famous fresh-fixed fixins, and it'll hit you too. This sandwich is worthy of the title World's Greatest. And now it's an even bigger deal with a special $1.89 price. So come get hooked on the sandwich that's a tuna fish wish come true.
The 6-inch Tuna Sub, $1.89 for a limited time at Subway.
The new G Series with 4-wheel steering from Kubota.
This week on Speed Week, we'll preview the Winston Cup race from the banks of Bristol, plus a look ahead to the IndyCar's Oval Opener. Speed Week, the motorsports coverage you deserve, Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern.
Back at Bristol International Raceway, the green just one lap ago. Todd Bodine now being pursued closely, ever approaching car number 60. There's Bodine, the Fiddle Faddle sponsored Chevrolet. He's our leader.
Second place is Mark Martin.
Wayne Dixie in car riding along with Mark Martin, the 2-time winner in Busch Series competition, getting a good shot at the rear of Todd Bodine Chevrolet. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I just talked to Steve Mill, crew chief on Mark Martin's car, and asked him, I said, can you handle a 34? He said, not right now. We need to run 40 or 50 laps under the green flag because the car is set up a little bit too tight. But under extended runs, they think it'll be okay. But the way the caution flags are falling out, we may never run 50 laps in a row.
Well, Benny, they probably didn't tell Mark that he can't handle Todd Bodine yet because he's approaching in a hurry. He's about a half a car length away in turn 3 and make it on the rear bumper coming out of turn 4. There's Bodine, Martin in second, Robert Presley, Ward Burton, and Jeff Burton, the Burton brothers, 4th and 5th.
And 6th through 10th, Terry Labonte. Steve Grissom made a good move from 17th up to 7th. Michael Waltrip in the 8th, Chuck Bowen in 9th. And in the 10th position was the car number 1 of Rodney Combs.
Harry Gann has made a charge from the back of the field up into the top 15. Taking a look at our field summary now. Some of the cars now -6 laps. That's Mike Wallace involved in an early incident. And, of course, Jimmy Spencer has parked the Jack Ingram Chevrolet, being involved in an incident. Larry Pearson and Joe Ruttman, along with Jim Bound, have also parked it in the garage area.
Mark Martin really working on Todd Bodine right now. You can see out through his windshield what he's looking at. Looks like Todd's car might be a little bit wiggly there at one portion on the racetrack, Jerry, but that's not uncommon on this racetrack.
He is sawing that wheel inside. That is Mark Martin. He looks pretty smooth. Actually, we were talking a minute ago about watching Todd Bodine. We got an in-car with Mark Martin. You can see him from up close. He looks to be very cool and relaxed, sitting there saying, I got this young man right where I want him.
They pulled away about a half a straightaway from Robert Presley, who was in third. Presley got by Ward Burton on the restart. Burton has lost the position on the last 3 restarts, but once he gets going, he takes off.
Mark Martin realizes he needs to pass for the lead very soon because they will be approaching a lot of traffic. As you see from above, just in front of these cars, there is a tremendous amount of traffic. There's Robert Presley back in third spot, as Ned mentioned, has gone around Ward Burton, but even with just 5 cylinders on that car, he's hanging pretty tough.
And Jerry, look how much Robert Presley is able to pull a 2-car on the straightaway. Now watch him when he comes off the turn, he'll pull away for a little bit, not as much that time as he did the lap before as he run in on some traffic. But then Ward Burton picks up every bit of it in the turn. In fact, he probably could even gain a little bit more. Now watch him when he goes into the turn here. Even in that heavy traffic, he moves right back up on the back bumper of Robert Presley. But where he needs to pass is get his fender up on coming off the turn and then make the pass down the straightaway. But Presley pulls away down the straightaway.
Heavy traffic. Now Robert Presley in behind the veteran Tommy Houston, making his 334th Busch Series start. Is Houston in the car number 6. Presley is behind him, and right behind Presley is the car number 2 of Ward Burton. The leaders now still nose to tail up front. Todd Bodine, as you're watching this battle back for 3rd and 4th spot.
And they are gaining on the front 2 cars, Jerry, even coming through that traffic. Robert Presley and the car number 2. And here goes Jeff Burton passing his brother down on the inside. He got a good run off of turn 2, and down the straightaway he was able to pull around him.
Jeff Burton, the younger brother of Ward by 6 years. Jeff is 25 years of age in the car number 8, the Phil Martossi on Baby Ruth Ford Thunderbird. He takes the 4th spot away. And the leaders, well, that's the car number 34, Todd Bodine, in the Fiddle Faddle Chevrolet.
Hard to pass a car that's running about the same speed that you are, and Todd Bodine is doing a good job of protecting the groove, which is his. He's leading the race. He's supposed to be able to go where he wants to on the racetrack. Mark Martin knows that. He's not going to take any major chances, but...
And the car number 35, that's Shauna Robinson, the Polaroid sponsored car, the Mike Laughlin machine. Behind them is Steve Grissom in the car number 31. He's trying to get by the Channel Lock Chevrolet. Behind him, Michael Waltrip. It's touch and go on the banking there in turns 3 and 4. And now Grissom gets to the high side, and Michael Waltrip's Pennzoil Pontiac follows him by.
Well, Shauna was trying to get to the inside, and Steve had made the commitment to go on the inside, and so they touched, but now everything is okay. As they battle for Steve Grissom running in the 7th position, Michael Waltrip running 8th. Now they're about half a lap behind the leaders.
Those cars just exiting turn 2 as the leaders enter turn 4, so exactly a half a lap. Then this is you spoke a minute ago. This battle right here between the car number 31 and 30 in 7th and 8th position. We'll show you the leaders now going up the back straightaway into turn 3 as they have pulled up behind Tim Fedewa in the car number 55, the Ray and Diane DeWitt on Ford Thunderbird. Fedewa, one of those 6 rookies in today's field.
And as they try to lap that rookie, right behind them is Tommy Houston, who is staying right on this group of leaders after he spun out and got a lap down. But the 8 car and the 59 put Robert Presley in the 8 is Jeff Burton. They have been doing a little beating and banging there, as Burton seems to be a little bit faster now than Robert Presley, but just can't seem to get around him.
Tight conditions here in Bristol, Tennessee. Tommy Houston in the Rosa Stores Thunderbird, a lap down, but hanging right with the leaders. And here is Terry Labonte in the car number 14, the MW Windows Chevrolet, to the left of your screen. That's the white car with the red 14 on the side. He tried to make a move to take the spot away from Ward Burton.
But it didn't work. He ran up on the left car down on the inside and had to back off. But here's Jeff Burton once again working on Robert Presley. He banged into the back. Here he goes on the inside into turn one. He's going to make the pass this time, and he'll take his brother Ward Burton right with him. Robert Presley has to back off. Here comes Terry Labonte. He was going to try to go down there, but said, no, I better back off and get myself back in line here.
So the Burton brothers tag team Robert Presley to make the move to take away the third and fourth spot. Presley back in fifth position. Take a look again at Presley. His car slips just a little bit, and that was just enough of a bobble to let him slow off the throttle and let Jeff Burton in the car number 8 and Ward Burton go by him for third and fourth spot. Trouble in the front straightaway. Tommy Houston's car spins as Houston's car in the car number 6 spins and loops it around, and we will have caution for the 5th time today.
And he spun on the front straightaway before Jerry and got that one lap down. Didn't hit the wall that time, but he did make contact with the inside wall this time. Tough break for Tommy Houston in the Rosie Store Ford.
And Tommy was running awfully well after losing the lap. As you said, he was staying right with the leaders. There's a look at Tommy Houston, a veteran, been with this series the entire 12 years we've had Busch Series racing. 334 consecutive starts for the veteran from Hickory, North Carolina. We are under caution once again at Bristol, Tennessee. Back with more after this.
Off the road, on the road. The Suzuki Dual Sport 350S. It's a vicious cycle.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
Fuel. It's got to be the best, especially when you fire up. It's got to provide efficient turnover. It's got to be lean and have some rare qualities. A WD brand steak from Winn-Dixie. It'll definitely get your motor racing. Oh, the car? It takes high test.
How far will your money go when buying a Dual Sport 350S? Introducing Suzuki Get On It Flexible Financing. Want to see it again? Other programs include 0 down, low monthly payments, and first-time buyer. Get on it.
The defending Busch Series champion, Joe Nemechek, among the first of the drivers to make a pit stop, and this should not be a scheduled stop net at 80 laps, although it might be.
Well, it could be, because he should be able to make it from here on. 170 laps to go from this point. He should be able to go that far on tank of fuel, I believe. As he pulls back out in the Dentine Chevrolet.
Vic Kangas and the crew having changed the tires, right side tires. The tire rule here at Bristol, Tennessee, in case you were wondering, for the Busch Series, 1 tire allowed per position. That's 1 tire for each of the 4 spots on the car, what you're allowed to change here at the racetrack.
Of course, that's during caution. They can change as many as they want to under green, but during any caution periods, during the whole race, they can only change a total of 4 tires, 1 per position, as you say.
A couple of cars that have made moves from the back of the pack. A minute ago, we saw the car number 31 and the car number 7 there coming through turns 1 and 2. That is Harry Gant in the car number 7. He is now being shown in the 9th position, and Gant started way back in 22nd spot. He's a former winner here, one of the 4 previous winners in today's field. There's Gant in the Ed Whitaker on French's Mustard Buick. It's a Buick here. He ran a Chevrolet last week at Darlington. Remember, Ward Burton having trouble on the restarts because of a possible spark plug wire. He is slow again, getting up to speed. That could cost him a spot. Meanwhile, Todd Bodine and Martin Martin have pulled away.
Well, it didn't cost him a spot that time because of the lap traffic that he was able to hold Robert Presley at bay, but the front 2 cars have pulled away now. So Robert Presley stays in 5th place and Ward Burton in 4th place. Of course, the 3rd place car is Jeff Burton.
And Jeff Burton about 12 or 14 car lengths back of the 2nd place car. You're riding along in the Winn-Dixie in-car camera, getting the view that Martin Martin gets of Todd Bodine's Fiddle Battle Chevrolet. I love that Fiddle Faddle Chevrolet. We got a Fiddle Faddle, which, folks, Fiddle Faddle is caramelized popcorn cluster, which makes me hungry even to say it. And right behind him, you got a Winn-Dixie Ford, which, as Mark told me, he's got some pretty good steaks there. So a lot of food up front. I wonder where Benny is. But anyway, those two guys running up front. It's about 3 car lengths separating the front 2 cars. And then about 15, make it 17 car lengths back now to Jeff Burton in 3rd spot.
Of course, he's another food car, the Baby Ruth.
I wasn't going to say it, but...
And then the Hardee's car got all food up front in the first 4 positions.
And here is Ward Burton, our pole sitter, in the car number 2. He is holding on to the 4th spot as he moves around Temi Fidoa, one of the rookie drivers. Let's check in with Benny Parsons. BP?
Well, Jerry, we keep telling the fans that Ward Burton has only run on 5 cylinders, and I'm sure they wonder why they haven't stopped and took a look at it. I think Ned hit the nail on the head was because of track position. They simply do not want to give up that track position. And under the NASCAR rules today, they can only change 4 tires or 1 tire per position. So they're going to go until they can make it the rest of the way. They'll probably go to 100, 125 laps, stop, and they'll be able to run the rest of the way. There's no point in stopping twice right now and going to the rear of the field.
That's a good point, Benny. Track position so important, and traffic so heavy on a very high bank, tight half mile like we have in Bristol, Tennessee. A lot of cars following in behind Robert Presley there. Taking a look at the interval. And we have a caution once again, and we're told there's debris on the racetrack. A minute ago, a couple of cars coming into contact. The car number 60 of Mark Martin tapped the 34 car. Look at the rear of that red car number 34. Let's see if we get some debris coming off. Here comes Mark Martin. And a little bit of a tap, not much. And yes, some debris flying off. So the NASCAR officials watching very closely, put out the caution flag. And here's the car number 2, our pole sitter, finally coming down pit road, Ward Burton in the Hardee's Buick. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Well, no, Jerry, he's not coming in. They were talking to him. Everyone jumped up on pit wall, and when he got to the entrance to pit road, he just simply went on by. I don't know if there was some mix-up or he's going to come in the next time. If he does, we'll be here.
Well, the green flag was waving, so pit road was definitely open. Now, whether they were confused on that or not, we'll see if he comes in the next time around, or maybe they recalculated those laps, Benny, and decided, well, we need to stay out there a little bit longer before he does come in. So
we're about 30 laps away from the halfway point. The crew jumped up on the wall with their bright Hardee's uniforms and waved, and it looked like Ward was going to make the entry, and he was down on the pavement and suddenly off the concrete, but stayed on the racetrack. So we were expecting to see him bring that Hardee's Buick down pit road, and he did not come in.
I think it's still the same situation, Jerry. There are still 19 cars in the lead lap. If he comes into the pits, he's going to be behind all of them. That track position is going to be not very good for him, and the action that we've seen has happened in the back part of the field. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Guys, this is the debris. I guess the NASCAR official handed it to me. I'm supposed to go take it and throw it in the trash. It's a piece of metal. It's cut out. Let's see. It's kind of gray. There's some yellow on here. Obviously, maybe a little contact with Michael. Maybe Harry Gant out there. There's some red in here too. Hey, Ned, you can take a look at this. Where's this from, the race car? What is this?
Well, it's part of the back bumper, I think, that goes over the tail light section. Maybe is what it looks like. That it's a piece of aluminum that maybe they put on over the tail light section. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know.
John, we've been told that you have 2 options. You could throw it away, or when Todd goes by, you can run out and staple it back on the car, but whatever you choose.
You know, now I'm looking at Todd. Todd's rear bumper seems to be okay.
Well, maybe it's off the front of Mark's car then.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'm at a loss for words.
Now that's a rarity.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
You've heard it first, ladies and gentlemen, as we're under caution here for the 6th time. We haven't even got to 100 laps yet at Bristol, Tennessee. Boy, I love the short tracks. I love short track Busch Series racing, NASCAR style, particularly here at the High Banks in Bristol, Tennessee. Getting set for more green flag racing. 93 laps in of 250, which comprise this Budweiser-sponsored NASCAR event. Todd Bodine trying to pick up where he left off last August, winning here at Bristol. He is leading right now, getting a challenge from Mark Martin's Winn-Dixie Ford Thunderbird.
Jeff Burton got himself in the start that time, running in 3rd place in the Baby Ruth Ford.
riding along with Mark Martin inside the Winn-Dixie Ford. You don't get much of a chance to take a breath here. You're in the bank. Now coming out of the banking, 650 feet of straightaway, as we will ride one lap here on this extremely high bank at Bristol, Tennessee. Takes about 15.5 seconds, and that is not much time for one lap around this racetrack.
Under race conditions, they run about 16.20 to 16.30.
So from within the car, in Mark Martin's viewpoint, watching the leader, Todd Bodine, will take you upstairs to the Family Channel blimp. It's about 1,000 feet over the racetrack, and we'll give you a shot as they are watching the race up there. Pilot Steve Tomlin and the folks at the Family Channel providing aerial coverage of this Busch Grand National Series event. Front two cars, Todd Bodine and Mark Martin. Take a look at how they're running here. Your favorite drivers. We take a look at our field summary. Bodine, Martin, Jeff Burton, Ward Burton, and Robert Presley in the top 5.
Terry Labonte is 6th, Michael Walker 7th, Harry Gant now up to 8th, Chuck Bound 9th, and Steve Grissom 10th.
David Green back in 15th spot. He had a problem in practice. In fact, backed that car just against the concrete barrier, so he is now being shown in the top 15. Kenny Fedor, rookie, now one lap down in 20th spot. Joe Betsy is out. Jimmy Spencer out. Those two cars involved in the same incident.
Here's Mark Martin trying to make a move, but he couldn't quite do it. He got a nose up under Bodine coming off the turn, and he just couldn't quite do it.
One car spinning, trouble. That is Tim Fedor up in turn 3. And the Ray and Diane DeWitt on Ford Thunderbird. Fedor, a rookie driver, and he's trying to keep the car on the banking, but at 36 degrees, it's hard with the car sitting that direction. The rear of the car wants to slide down a little bit. Now he's getting ready to back the car. He sees Jason Keller's car coming by. There is a good look at Tim Fedor in the race scan Ford.
Well, you can see he is already in a spinning mode coming off of turn 2 all the way into turn 3. Boy, he took a lot of spins, Jerry, getting to that point. Didn't hit the wall too hard, it didn't look like, on the outside. Now, here it is again. A couple of cars goes by on the outside as he spins down on the inside and eventually goes up the banking a little bit.
Fans in the backstretch got a heck of a show there. He did it 2.360, didn't touch much.
Pit stops coming up right now. The leaders are coming in, excepting Jeff Burton.
Here's Todd Bodine's fiddle faddle car. Let's check into the pits with John Kernan. John?
Well, Jerry, Todd Bodine is in for a 4-tire change. They also are going to add 2 rounds of wedge. He had told crew chief Clyde McLeod earlier, there you see the adjustment in the right rear, that the car was running a little bit loose. Let's go further down pit road. Mark Martin's pit, Benny Carson.
Well, Mark Martin is in. They've changed right sides. They're taking wedge out of his car. Steve Mills told me the car was a little tight. Took about 2 rounds of wedge out. They're around the left side. They're going to change 4 tires. So I would expect this is the last time we see Mark Martin in the pits. John?
Well, Todd Bodine has completed his 4-tire change. He is headed down pit road, but Mark Martin's going to beat him out. I also see Hermie Sadler and Mike Wallace coming out. And also Robert Presley got out before Todd.
And one car who had trouble was Ricky Craven. He began to move away, and there was a tire in front of his car. The DuPont-sponsored Chevrolet, he had to stop about halfway down pit road, and there's the tire. Now some crew member going to walk out and get it. Looks like one of the Pennzoil crew members from Michael Waltrip's team goes out and gets the tire that may have rolled out on pit road. Some very good pit work by Busch Grand National Series crews under the 6th caution flag of the day in Bristol, Tennessee. Back after this.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
If you can't wait, you need the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, just having gone green after caution flag pit stops, and Jeff Burton in the car number 8, the Phil Martacion Baby Ruth Ford Thunderbird, being shown as a leader. Now, he did not pit. Neither did the car behind him, which is Chuck Bound, the former series champion. He did not pit. Richard Lassiter in the car number 5 did not pit, nor did David Green in the car number 44. Those cars did not pit. The first car out of the pit was the car number 31. That is Steve Grissom, and he is now being shown in the 5th position. Grissom changed 2 tires only. Now, Mark Martin changed all 4, and he is back in 6th spot. Now, Grissom is trying to make a move beneath our point leader, David Green, in the car number 44.
He gets the nose up under him coming off of turn 2, going into turn 3. Green gives him running room. Here comes Mark Martin right around as well. And here's trouble over in turn 2. It's Tim Fedewa again, Jerry, one of the rookie drivers.
And this time, Fedewa's car backs across the track right in front of the leaders. Chuck Bound goes to the high side. Fedewa getting the car down off the concrete onto the asphalt pavement, the black strip there, and the young man who has run so well in a couple different series, a former Artco Rookie of the Year in '89, a 1991 ASA Rookie of the Year, and now a rookie in Busch Series competition. He is having a tough day here on the high banks at Bristol. Take a look again as you see one car coming against the wall. It looked like Fedewa there as he was trying to get the car spun sideways. Benny Parsons?
Yes, Jerry, it all started in turn 4. Tim Fedewa came off the corner, and Tracy Leslie was trying to get by. Ward Burton was trying to get by both of them. And I'm telling you what, I thought they were going to crash down the front straightaway. They all got everything out of control, went in turn 1 out of sight, and I guess they crashed after they got out of sight.
Well, at least Tim Fedewa did. The others got through okay, but the traffic was very, very heavy there.
There's Fedewa pulling back down pit road, minus the rear bumper and some of the sheet metal on that Ford Thunderbird as he waits to rejoin the fray. One car having been on pit road, the car number 44. Our point leader, David Green. Back with more from Bristol, Tennessee, Busch Series Racing after this.
The spring into golf sale has begun at Marty Keene's Golf World.
Hi, I'm Marty Keene. From now until April 17th, prices are slashed on all in-stock items. Golf shirts only $20. Golf clubs up to 50% off. 20% off on shoes, bags, and accessories. It's our greatest sale ever. Leading up to our Manufacturer Reps Day on Saturday, April 17th, a day you won't want to miss. But act now for the best selection on sale merchandise.
Spring into golf sale at Marty Keene's Golf World, Blair Park in Williston.
Hush, little baby, don't say a
Last year, thousands of innocent children were caught in the crossfire of violent crime. And it's not just the children who suffer. How much longer will you let this go on? Call this number now. We'll send you information on how you can protect your children from crime and drugs in your neighborhood. Together, we will take a bite out of crime.
Called the world's fastest half-mile speedway, ESPN will be there to bring you the Food City 500. 500 laps of fender-bending excitement. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 Eastern, live on ESPN. The road to the Kentucky Derby has begun, and high-powered thoroughbreds are paving the way. They're off and running at the Remington Park Derby. Today at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Back 25 years ago when I was driving a race car, this is the fan blade we ran on the front of the engine to pull air through the radiator because we didn't have a very good cooling system. The engine made a lot of horsepower, and I ran a lot of dirt, so I needed a big bunch of blades on a fan. Joe, what do they use today to pull air through the radiator?
Benny, with the V6 engines, we went to electric fans. The engines don't create quite as much heat as the V8s, and we just use a little tiny electric fan.
It is tiny. What makes this thing turn? Is there a thermostat in there that makes it turn?
No, the driver has to be very aware of what's going on. You have to watch the water temperature gauge, and when it gets to a certain point, you have to flip that switch.
If he's not watching, there could be trouble.
Indeed, there could be, but right now there are no troubles up front, Benny, for our leader, and that is Jeff Burton in the car number 8. As he is pulled away, remember, he did not pit, neither has Chuck Bound, the 1990 Series champion who runs in second spot.
Plenty of trouble on the front straightaway. Ward Burton, the pole sitter, gets tapped from the rear coming off of turn 4, slides into the inside retaining wall.
And caution for the 9th time today. 9th time we've had the caution flag. It will not be a record thus far. The record still held by Hickory Speedway up in Hickory, North Carolina. Benny Yunt's fine facility. They had 26 caution flags there last April 18th, just about a year ago. That's where they go. In fact, next week on Saturday, or next up there at the Hickory Speedway for the next Busch Series event. That's a 3/8 mile track in Hickory, North Carolina. But caution being shown again for the 9th time before Ward Burton and Ned.
He had got in some heavy traffic going into turn 3, Jerry, and had to back off, and then came down to the inside. But when he backed off, he got tapped from the rear, and it just spun him around all the way down the front straightaway here, and finally got into the inside retaining wall. He really was running. I don't know if they got their engine problem fixed, but it looked like that he was running much faster down the straightaway. I just happened to be looking straight at it when he was coming up on some traffic and went by one going into turn 3, but ran up on a slower car and had to back off, and that's when all the trouble started.
And the car number 2 sitting there, that is Ward Burton, the AG Dillard-owned machine. We are told that he may have had a little help.
Yes, Tim Fiedel, I believe, in the car number 55 is the car that tapped him, and apparently they're going to bring him in and let him rest a little bit.
So the penalty box apparently being employed here as Tim Fiedel, with car number 55, comes to rest on the backstretch. Tim was involved in a spin earlier, and he may have had some help from somebody out here, and as his car got into the wall and now came back to the track for the caution, for the 8th caution flag, minus the rear bumper and some of the sheet metal, and now he is involved in an incident where he has to go to pit road. And speaking of penalty box, we've got hockey coming your way on ESPN. The Stanley Cup playoffs starts April 20th. Up to 37 games, the Stanley Cup Finals, all that coming your way on the ice right here on ESPN. We got penalty boxes everywhere, Ned.
I guess that's something relatively new to auto racing. It's been in existence for, what, a couple or 3 years, I guess.
But it's worked.
Yep.
Les Richter and the folks at NASCAR have made that work so the drivers understand there has to be some give and take on the racetrack. Taking a look at our top 10, Jeff Burton is our leader. Chuck Bound, Steve Grissom, Mark Martin, and Robert Presley. 6 through 10, Michael Waltrip, Joe Nemechek, Harry Gant now in 8th spot, Hermie Sadler, the rookie, in 9th, and Rodney Combs in 10th. Just 5 laps away from halfway. Let's check in on the pits once again with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, I think the reason Tim Fiedel was sitting on pit road is because of what happened right here. They see, maybe they think he did that intentionally because of what happened on the caution before. As they came out of turn 4, Ward Burton was trying to get around, so he gave him a little tap in behind. Well, that kind of got Fiedel a little bit squirrely. Burton backed off. Tracy Leslie dove underneath Ward Burton, and then it broke loose as Tracy came up over on Fiedel. So apparently Fiedel thought that Ward had caused all that and was trying to pay him back. Of course, we don't know that for sure. That's just conjecture on our part.
Well, whatever, NASCAR was convinced, so they put Tim over there on the backstretch for a couple laps, and he's still sitting there. Going to cool off while up front. Jeff Burton has about a 3-car length separation between himself and Chuck Bound. Good run for Chuck Bound in the Nescafe Pontiac. He's getting a stiff challenge from Steve Grissom in the Channel Lock Chevrolet. Grissom in 3rd, Mark Martin is 4th, Robert Presley 5th, and Michael Waltrip is 6th.
Now remember, the front 2 cars, Jeff Burton and Chuck Bound, have not made pit stops. Steve Grissom has, running in 3rd place in the Channel Lock entry. Mark Martin, of course, has stopped, and so has Robert Presley and Michael Waltrip.
Jeff Burton is our leader. Where is Ward Burton, our pole sitter? He is behind the wall where they're working on the car. Right, Benny Parsons?
Jerry, I tell you what, it didn't look like the damage was that much to me, but he's got some heavy damage to the front of the car and to the rear car. Evidently, the rear hit, the front came around, and looks like maybe the rear housing's bent. They're trying to straighten the toe-in on the front of the car. I'll tell you what, it just looked like a little simple bang off the wall, but there's some heavy damage on this Hardy's car.
And Freddie Fryer, the crew chief down there, trying to hurriedly get that car back on the racetrack. As you're watching the battle, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Bristol the 31, Martin the 60, Presley the 59. Now right along with Mark Martin, as you see, he has a full windshield full of Channel Lock Chevrolet. But he has to be very cognizant of right behind him is Robert Presley, looking for a move to the inside.
Presley gets a nose under him going into turn 1, but can't quite make the pass. Now Martin goes high. Presley takes the opportunity to try to get over, and they touch. Mark Martin spins around to the inside retaining wall.
And Martin's car taps the wall. Thus, we have not seen a yellow flag. We have seen no caution flags as Martin's car spun, tapped the backstretch concrete retaining wall, and now his Winn-Dixie Ford, you're seeing from above there, from the blimp shot, is limping slowly back behind the wall. Contact between Mark Martin and Robert Presley. Take a look once again here, coming off turn 2.
Well, Martin had gone high in the turn. Presley got a nose up under him, but as they came off of the turn, Presley just nudged him a little bit on Martin's left rear quarter panel, just enough to send him spinning down to the inside. And you notice, Jerry, on the cement, there is not a lot of smoke that comes off the tires. Now, normally, if this would be asphalt, you would see a lot of smoke, and the drivers behind him might have had a wreck. We see very little smoke there until he gets down on the asphalt.
I tell you, Mark did a heck of a job. The car looped around. He could have hit the wall head on. He jumped back on the brakes. And now we have major trouble here in the front stretch as 3 cars are involved. Whoa, good move by David Green to keep him tagging the backside of Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine was involved there. Jack Sprague, you can see heavy damage on his car. Of course, he was involved earlier in an incident. Caution is out now.
For the 10th time, Carl Simmons waves the yellow flag. Carl Simmons is going to get the Ben Gay Award for waving that right arm all afternoon with the yellow flag. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened this time.
Well, a couple of cars already spinning out. There's Todd Bodine in the red car, and I believe that was Rodney Combs in the white car in front, as they apparently got together coming off of turn 4, and of course it all culminated down in turn 1.
Different angle looking at it from turn 1. It was Rodney Combs in the car number 1. His car spins. The car number 74 involved Jack Sprague. Good move by Todd Bodine and David Green in the 44. And for the first time that in a while, the former series champion Chuck Bound has the Hubert and Jeff Hensley prepared Nescafe Pontiac at the front of the field. We're under caution for the 10th time today at Bristol, Tennessee. 134 laps in the books. Back with more after this.
Burt Reynolds talks with the Quaker State team.
Hold on. I got to get my name on the car. My fans are getting restless.
No room.
How about on the Big Q?
The Big Q stands alone. Stands for quality. You can't get better protection. No other oil beats Quaker State.
How about right here?
No way. Red doesn't like to be crowded.
My fans are getting demanding.
All right. We'll go get the painter.
I must have had a hard time finding the painter. Nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
America's first choice. Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome to Napa, America's most complete source for quality auto parts and accessories. And now get hot spring buys at Napa. Quality Napa motor oil, just 99 cents a quart. Get 2 Napa Silverline oil filters, just $4. STP oil treatment is free after double mail-in rebate. And don't miss this special value. Napa's 5-piece cooler combo, just $19.99. Save big on hot spring buys now at Napa, America's first choice.
At Yamaha, we've always left the competition in the dust. And now it's time they took a bath. Introducing the Yamaha Pro VXR, the world's leading personal watercraft. When it comes to acceleration, we're flat out better.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, the Budweiser 250 at Bristol International Raceway. High atop with the Family Channel blimp shots. Looking now inside with Mark Martin. We'll show you his troubles just here a moment ago.
First, Robert Preston gotten on the inside of it, as you can see, as he spins around and hits the inside retaining wall.
And the green flag just being waved to Chuck Bound. And by our record, this is the first lap that Chuck Bound has led in 1993. He is the 1990 NASCAR Busch Grand National Series national champion. Remember now, Chuck Bound has not pitted as of yet, and John Kernan was checking with him during the break and told us that they could probably go about 170 laps on fuel. He was checking with Hubert and Jeff Hensley down there in the pits, but now Bound getting a little bit of a challenge from last week's winner, Robert Presley.
Presley running much better after he made his pit stop. He was having some trouble in the turns, Jerry, but they've apparently made some adjustments on that Chevrolet, and he's running much better now.
Pontiac, Chevrolet, and Pontiac, that's the way they're running. Bound, Presley, and Waltrip. Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac, the Ronnie Silver prepared car out of the Chuck Ryder stable. He is the third car. That's Michael Waltrip there. Great camera shot, guys. They're coming up on the Mike Wallace machine out of turn 4.
I don't quite understand the strategy of not having stopped before Chuck Bound and them, but, you know, they've been racing and have won a lot of races and a championship, so Hubert and Jeff Hensley know what they're doing there, I guess, but when he does have to make that pit stop, he could have to make it under green, or even if he makes it under caution, he's going to be way back in the pack.
And here's the car number 31, Steve Grissom. He is moving toward the front, or he was a minute ago. He's now locked in a battle back there with Ricky Craven. And you'll see where he is compared to the leaders. Up front, that's Chuck Bound and Robert Presley.
Well, before this caution, Grissom was up there in the third position, Jerry. So he made a pit stop, I guess, and put on left side tires. He had taken on right side tires on the pit stop before. So he's got to work his way back up through there. He does have a fast race car.
AutoZone race summary. Our leaders have been Ward Burton, the pole sitter, Todd Bodine, Jeff Burton, and now Chuck Bound. Chuck Bound has led 6 of 134 laps. There have been 10 cautions. Yes, 10 cautions for 45 laps. 4 leaders, 3 different lead changes, and the average speed just 68.208 miles per hour because of the caution flags. Out of the race thus far, Joe Bessie, Larry Pearson, Jimmy Spencer, Jim Bound, Joe Ruttman, and the latest retiree, Tim Finoa.
Boy, Jeff Burton has got himself in some very heavy traffic, but he's on fresh tires. He made a pit stop, and he's really having to work his way through here. That's the white car, the number 8.
Has to be very careful. Remember, those fresh tires so much quicker than the heated tires, so he has to be very careful not to dive that car into the corner and run over someone. He moves up on Jeff Green in the car number 16.
Well, Jeff Green is currently being shown in the 10th position. So that's what they're battling for right now.
Jeff Green, the 1990 late model stock car champion at Nashville Motor Speedway, driving the Wayne Day owned car, the 31W Insulation Chevrolet, which is housed about a half a mile from this racetrack, just up the Bristol Highway.
Okay, Jeff Burton gets by, and so does Todd Bodine. They move around Jeff Green, move into the 10th and 11th positions.
And they will set their sights on the car number 57 of Jason Keller, one of the rookie drivers. Both Keller and Hermie Sadler are running in the top 10 in 7th and 8th spot, or make that 8th and 9th spot. And they have now both been passed by Steve Grissom, who is coming toward the front in a hurry. You're looking at Jeff Burton's car number 8 and Todd Bodine. Meanwhile, back up front 2 cars remain. Chuck Bound, behind him Robert Presley, and behind him in the bright yellow and red number 30 is Michael Waltrip.
And just moving into 4th place a couple of laps ago is Terry Labonte in the MW Window Chevrolet. He passes Joe Nemechek, and Harry Gant slows dramatically going into turn 3 in the French's Mustard car. Apparently something wrong with it. He'll head to the pits. An unscheduled pit stop definitely for Harry Gant. He had already made the only pit stop he should have had to make during the day. So one of the favorites here, Ed Whitaker, who owns this car, is from right here in Bristol, Tennessee. Let's go to the pits and pick.
Ned, he brings it to a stop. They just told him to keep going, take it to the pit area. So, I don't know, right here is Jim Harmon. What's wrong with it, Jim?
He said it broke a rock or arm. We're out for the day.
Lost a cylinder.
Yeah.
All right, they had an engine problem, out for the day.
Okay, he's not running for points, so he don't want to take any chances staying out there, and there's trouble.
Chuck Bounds, car number 63. He was the leader. The Nescafe Pontiac loops around, comes into slight contact net with the turn 1 wall as Robert Presley and Michael Waltrip go by.
And Michael Waltrip takes the lead from Robert Presley. Let's see if we can see what happens. They come off at turn 4. Presley right on the back bumper of Chuck Bound. Don't see any contact yet. Maybe a little bit right there.
I don't know. I think Chuck's car began to slip a little bit. I think Chuck Bound's car began to slip and slide. As the car slowed down, Presley jumped on the brakes, but I think his car still got into the back of Chuck Bound heading into turn 1, and Chuck went on around. But there's a look at Chuck Bound, the former series champion in the car number 63. A tough break after he was leading. He still had to pit, but not this way as he heads down pit road with the aid of a wrecker. Under caution now for the 11th time a day at Bristol, Tennessee. Back with more Busch Series racing after this.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
Burt Reynolds for Quaker State.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. You know, when it comes to protecting against friction, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to protecting against viscosity breakdown, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to keeping engines clean, nothing beats Quaker State. Take it from me, for unbeatable protection, nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Fresh, pure, and natural. Budweiser, king of beers. They come at night, creeping, crawling, and if you've seen one, there are hundreds more. Roaches. You need the exterminator, the Orkin Man. Armed with the most sophisticated pest control technology in the world, he seeks out roaches, annihilates them, and prevents their return. Guaranteed. The exterminator, the Orkin Man. One call destroys them all.
Top Rank Boxing, the rematch of two warriors. This time it's for the USBA Heavyweight Championship. Joe Hipp tries to repeat his victory over Kevin Ford. Top Rank Boxing, tonight at midnight Eastern, live on ESPN.
Aerial shots high above Bristol International Raceway, courtesy of the Family Channel blimp. Today being piloted by Steve Tomlin. Family Channel blimp currently on a 93 Goodwill tour, making a number of appearances at major sporting events, concerts, and fairs across the country. Let's go down to Benny Parsons, who is standing by with Chuck Bound. Benny?
Yes, Jerry, I'm with the driver of the Nescafe Pontiac. Chuck, leading the race. What happened out there?
Well, everything was going along fine and coming off the fourth turn, and I just got hit from behind with a 59 car. It hit hard enough, it just turned me right around. I tried to catch it all the way down the front straightaway, but at those speeds, I couldn't get it back under control. I ended up slamming the wall clear at the end of the straightaway. We're trying to get it back out in the race. We want to win a championship with an Nescafe and SD Pontiac, but it's been a little bit. It's going to take a while to repair it.
Looked like some pretty good contact with the left side.
Yeah, it was no fun.
You're okay, though?
I'm fine.
Okay, guys, he's okay, but...
Well, that answers that question. That answers the question we were trying to see up here. Looks like he did get a tap from Robert Presley's Alliance Training Center Chevrolet. As we are under caution for the 11th time today
Now, Jerry, Presley has dropped back to third on that little incident. Michael Waltrip took the lead, and then as they raced back to the start-finish line, Terry Labonte was able to move around Robert Presley, so Labonte now is in second, Presley is third, and in fourth place is the 1992 Busch Grand National champion, Joe Nemechek. Steve Grissom up to fifth now.
And flagman Carl Simmons holding a black flag, and the car number 59
comes into the pits. Robert Presley coming into the pits. He was told that he was getting the black flag, so they're bringing him in for that incident with Chuck Bauer. You can see some damage on the right front of Robert's Alliance Tractor Trailer Training Centers.
And Ricky Pearson and the crew, Owen Edwards, go to work on that car. Let's check in with Benny Parsons. Benny?
Yes, the nose of the car, the grill is pushed in on the Alliance Truck Trainer Chevrolet. The Pearson boys seem to have it okay, and away it goes. The NASCAR official did not say a word, so I don't know if he was black flagged or just came in on his own.
No, I don't think it was a penalty, Benny. They were about to black flag him because they saw the damage that was done, and apparently was rubbing a tire a little bit, so they brought him in. Probably did him a favor under the caution as opposed to waiting until the green flag dropped.
And that's the word, Ned. There was some fiberglass rubbing, so they were going to bring him in to get that fiberglass pulled away from the tire. Back to green flag racing. Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac. So suddenly the front of the field has a distinct Winston Cup flavor. Michael Waltrip, the leader. Terry Labonte in second spot. Joe Nemechek, a defending series champion, rides third. And following him, Steve Grissom in the channel on the right.
Nemechek did not have a good qualifying run here. As a matter of fact, he started back in the 30th position. But he has had good pit strategy here today, and so he's got himself up in the top 5. Right now, Steve Grissom all over him, trying to take that third position away from him.
The white car just at the top of your screen, the fifth place car. Good one for a rookie driver. That is Jason Keller. You see him in the screen as the battle now for third spot. Steve Grissom moves to the inside of Nemechek. And now Keller pulls right in behind him, along with Jeff Burton and Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Keller wanted to, while that hole was opened up, he wanted to dive in there, but he couldn't quite make it on the inside of Nemechek. Nemechek filled the gap very quickly. He knows that the inside of the racetrack is the place to be. He didn't get to be the champion for nothing. Now we'll see if Steve Grissom can run down the two leaders, Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte, as Labonte keeps the pressure on Michael Waltrip up there. You can see the distance there between first and second and the third place car.
There's Jason Keller, car number 57, as he's holding down the position. Currently in fifth spot, trying to hold off Jeff Burton. Burton gives him a little tap up there in turn 2. Keller holds the line. That's Burton, the car number 8, the Baby Ruth car. He is 6. Behind him in 7th spot will be Todd Bodine. And back in the 8th position will be the car number 16. That's Jeff Green.
And if you wonder about Robert Presley, he was back to 14th, about to take over 13th from David Green right now, but he's trying to pick his way back through after having to come into the pits to repair damage. Still that battle there with Jeff Burton and Todd Bodine now getting involved in the car number 34. Jason Keller doing a good job of protecting his turf.
You're wondering how a rookie can run so well here on the short track. Jason Keller is a rookie in Busch Series competition, but he was a 1990 All-Pro Rookie of the Year. And in 1991, he finished third in the NASCAR Winston All-Pro Series, so no stranger to the short tracks at all. Jason Keller in the Air Products Oldsmobile, car number 57. Michael Waltrip's got his hands full. Terry Labonte, the MW Windows Chevrolet. Labonte coming off his best run of the 93 season. Last week at Darlington, he finished third. His dad, Bob Labonte, prepares this car. There's Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac and Terry Labonte. And one car that was on the lead lap now slowing and heading down pit road, Rodney Combs, 42-year-old driver in the Ford Thunderbird.
This battle continues here for 5th position. Rodney Combs was having the best run of the year in the Ford. That's the car that Jeff Gordon drove last year. As this battle continues, Jason Keller's just doing a great job of holding off Jeff Burton now pulling away a little bit from him.
Told you that impressive crop of rookies. Jason Keller, one of them.
I wonder if something's happened to Jeff Burton's car. He seems to be off the pace just a little bit, or maybe just got crossways. Here's Todd Bodine going on the inside of him. Into turn 3, Todd Bodine will take away the 6th position. And here comes the car number 16 as well going on the inside. Let's see if we can see what happened to him, because he really has gotten off of the pace. The Baby Ruth Ford. Well, that's Todd Bodine getting a little bit of a Darlington strike there.
Well, Jeff Green has gone around him. Jeff Green in the red and white number 16. He takes the spot away. He is now in the 7th position.
Boy, the leaders are in heavy traffic here. They maneuver around, but Terry Labonte keeps the pressure on as they move around Mike Wallace. They just passed a couple of cars on the last lap. They come up on cars so quick here. They're coming up on Tracy Leslie in the Detroit Gasket entry. He moves to the inside, gives them plenty of racing room, so Michael goes by on the outside.
Just 70 laps to go here, and we mentioned that Jeff Burton's car did not appear to be handling that well. How about it, John Kernan?
Well, Jerry, it's not a handling problem. They are having a motor problem. I guess you could say it's all in the family today. He just came by moments ago, and it sounds like he's also running on 5 cylinders. So a problem in the motor for Jeff Burton.
And a tough race for his brothers Burton here at Bristol, Tennessee. 182 laps are in the books at Bristol, Tennessee. We'll be back with more exciting Busch racing after this. Stay with us.
There was one thing about Bud that we kept hearing over and over.
Now that's fresh beer. Huh? Okay, let's say this is the original Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. There's another one in Texas.
And 2 more in Florida.
New York, California, New Jersey.
Over a dozen of them.
So Budweiser doesn't have to truck their beer clean across the country.
So you know it's fresh.
Right.
Is that my beer in New Jersey?
Burt Reynolds talks with the Quaker State team.
Hold on. I got to get my name on the car. My fans are getting restless.
No room.
How about on the big Q?
The big Q stands alone. Stands for quality.
You can't get better protection.
No other oil beats Quaker State.
How about right here?
No way. Red doesn't like to be crowded.
My fans are getting demanding.
All right. We'll go get the painter.
I must have had a hard time finding the painter. Nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
2 teams will enter the rink, but only one will emerge as the national champion. The NCAA Hockey Championships tonight at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN. The road to the Kentucky Derby has begun, and high-powered thoroughbreds are paving the way. They're off and running at the Remington Park Derby today at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
After 188 of 250 laps, Michael Waltrip showing the way. Terry Labonte in second, Steve Grissom third, Joe Nemechek, the defending series champion, fourth, and Todd Bodine is fifth. 6 through 10, Jason Keller, Jeff Green, Jeff Burton, Hermie Settler, another rookie, and Ricky Craven is 10th currently. And here's Robert Presley in the car number 59 trying to find his way back toward the front. He is currently being shown in the 10th position after making that pit stop to get some fiberglass or some sheet metal pulled away. And now some debris bouncing around on the racetrack. And yes, that came off the 10 feet of a car, and NASCAR saw it and put out the caution flag immediately. Let's see if we can see as the yellow car comes at you. Let's see if we can see that piece come off.
Yeah, there it is. Comes off right down the front straightaway.
Well, that's great. That may be the best camera guy we've got. That is a speed shot camera, folks, and it sits there. It is actually taped or bolted to the wall, so that camera does not move. And we actually sort of call that camera Elvis because it isn't there. But then again, it is there. Let's check in with Benny Parsons. BP?
Okay, you saw the piece of aluminum flying down the front straightaway? Robert Presley caught it on his car as he went by. I thought he might have to come in the pits. He came by the next time, and it fell off his car at exactly the same spot he picked it up the lap before. It just hitchhiked a lap, one lap around Bristol, and fell off. That's interesting.
Indeed that was, and now we've got someone up there picking up that debris up in turn 1, and there's Robert Presley, last week's winner, his 8th career Busch Series win. Daniel Welch owned the machine out of Asheville, North Carolina. And our crack camera crew has caught Presley running directly over the debris.
Benny Parsons was very astute catching that as well as it came down through there.
And here's Robert Presley as he follows Hermie Sadler down pit road, the rookie. And Benny, he's headed toward you.
Yes, they got tape in hand. Ricky Pearson looks like they're going to try to tape this grill in where he's made some contact. Oh, I see the car is running too cool. They're putting some tape over the air inlet on the bottom so that to reduce the amount of air going inside so the engine will run just a little bit warmer. These engines like to run at about 200 degrees, and anything less than that, they don't perform as well as they can perform. So that's all they're doing, putting a piece of tape over the air inlet.
And it also might have a tendency, Benny, to loosen the car up a little bit if it's too tight.
If that's correct, it will make the car a little bit looser by plugging up the air inlets on the front.
That was Ricky Pearson, one of the sons of the legendary David Pearson, putting the tape on the front of the car.
Jerry didn't hurt him too badly. You mentioned a moment ago that he moved up to 10th place. There are only 12 cars now in the lead lap, so that just moves him back 2 positions, so that still leaves him in pretty good position.
And remember, in Busch Series racing, the double file restarts allow the faster cars, the cars on the lead lap, to start on the inside, and the lap cars start on the outside. That's just the exact opposite of what we see on our Sunday telecast of the Winston Cup cars. 12 caution flags at Bristol, Tennessee. It's been an exciting afternoon as we approach the 200 lap mark. Michael Waltrip being shown as a leader, getting a shot from high atop Bristol International Raceway, courtesy of the fine folks with the Family Channel Blimp. Glad to have you with us. John Kernan, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, and yours truly, Jerry Pudge. And the green flag flies once again for Michael Waltrip.
Labonte second, Steve Grissom third, Joe Nemechek fourth, and in 5th place now, moving into 5th place is Todd Bodine, as he makes a good move up to the field. Jason Teller is first.
Michael Waltrip has 5 career Busch Series wins. His last victory came right here on ESPN last September in Darlington. Big pack back here, car number 8. Jeff Burke behind him, Richard Lassiter. Also involved is our point leader, David Green, in the car number 44, Hermie Sadler. Cars battling for position.
Ricky Craven was last year's Rookie of the Year when he was winning in the lead lap, but just before the caution came out, Jerry, he had slowed, and he now has gone 1 lap down, currently being shown in the 13th position.
And we're told he has a fuel pickup problem, Ed, on that DuPont Chevrolet, so a tough break for Ricky Craven. How about it, John Kernan?
Well, Jerry, what the car is doing when it goes into the middle of the corners, it's starting to cut off. And it sounds like they picked up some trash, is what they tell me, in the fuel line. They brought it in, they checked out, they've done all they can here on pit road. He's just going to have to go out there and ride it out. The car definitely not running like it was earlier today.
Obviously off the pace, he had a good run going. A young man who was a Rookie of the Year last year and a former Busch Grand National North champion.
And here's the battle up front for 2nd position as Steve Grissom is really working on Terry Labonte. Michael Waltrip has pulled away by about 3 car lengths.
Good run for Steve Grissom in the car number 31. What an outstanding job they have done. Brian Frazier, Steve's brother-in-law, who is the crew chief. Steve has 6 career wins in the Channel Lock Chevrolet, looking for win number 1 in 1993. And he has had to come from the back a couple of times, but that car has been up to it every time.
Yes, it has. He has run very, very well. The car looks like it's handling well down on the inside of the racetrack. That's the blue car, the number 31 that we're talking about. You see the car number 75 Butch Miller back out there because he was involved in a big crash earlier in the race. These drivers get their cars repaired, get them back out there to earn as many points as they possibly can.
Here's the car number 34 making a move in.
Yes, he's coming back up through the pack too, Jerry, after making a pit stop, came back up through pretty good, and then was involved in the crash down here. Really just spun out. I don't think he did much damage to the car, but he was put pretty far back in the field. So Todd Bodine has made a good move to get back up in the top 5. As a matter of fact, he is gaining on the leaders right now.
Getting a shot from above Bristol International Raceway on a beautiful afternoon here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee. The bright yellow and red numeral car number 30, Michael Waltrip, is our leader. We'll be back with more green flag racing action from right here in Thunder Valley after this. Stay with us.
Visit Green Mountain Lincoln Mercury today on the Barry Montpelier Road. Choose from the vast array of beautiful 1993 automobiles for your springtime driving. See the 1993 Grand Marquis with a 3-year or 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Choose between a $1,500 cash rebate or 3.9% financing for 48 months. And check out their complete state-of-the-art service department. Take exit 7 from Interstate 89, follow the signs to Montpelier, turn right at the bottom of the hill for Green Mountain Lincoln Mercury, #1 in customer satisfaction.
Benjamin Moore paint is sold on playgrounds.
If you want my advice, use Benjamin Moore.
And just about everywhere else.
At any color, they've got it.
Because our best salesmen...
It's the only paint I use.
...are the people who use us. See your Benjamin Moore dealer.
Your local Benjamin Moore paint dealer is Finney's Paint and Decorating Center. For a limited time, buy 3 gallons of quality Benjamin Moore interior paint and get one free. Finney's will personally custom match any color at their 3 locations in Shelburne, Middlebury, and Rutland.
Back in Bristol, Tennessee, Michael Waltrip holds the point. He has been getting challenged every couple of laps. Terry Labonte will make a run in on him, Ned Jarrett, and then back off a couple of car lengths and then make another run.
Yeah, I don't know if he's saving his tires doing that or if he just gets caught up in traffic and then loses that distance. But they've lost Steve Grissom now. As a matter of fact, Steve Grissom is about to lose 3rd place to Todd Bodine. Grissom goes a little bit high. Bodine gets under him coming off of turn 2. They race down the backstretch into turn 3, side by side. Todd Bodine should take the measure of him coming off the 4, and he does.
You see Grissom inside that car just twisting that steering wheel back and forth. Looked like he was swatting flies a minute ago. That car not really handling all to his liking. The car has slowed, and he has lost the 3rd spot to Todd Bodine.
Yeah, he was so strong there, challenging Terry Labonte less than 10 laps ago, but all of a sudden he started dropping back. Here's a battle. Jason Keller being passed by Jeff Burton. And Hermie Sandler making the pass. Well, that young kid is very impressive. And there's problems with Jason Keller's car. A lot of smoke coming off of it. Don't know if he hit the wall and maybe a tire smoke. It looked like he got awfully high that last lap and maybe knocked the fender in on a tire. Tough break for Jason Keller. Had a good run going here today.
Apparently he has scraped the wall. He didn't more than scrape it. He said hello in a big time to the concrete coming off turn 4. And a tough break for the young man who is a rookie competitor here, but a lot of people are picking him to be one of the bright superstars of this series in the future. He will get that car slowly back off of turn 2 and head down pit road. A young man, Jason Keller, former Rookie of the Year in the All-Pro ranks. One of 6 rookies in this race today. As the crew now looking over that machine. Steve Addington and the crew checking on that car. Meanwhile, Michael Waltrip has the Pennzoil Pontiac up front.
And he needs something good to happen to him, Jerry. He's had a tough year. As a matter of fact, a tough couple of years. He won in Busch competition at Darlington last year. But the Chuck Ryder Pennzoil team, they just have had a couple of tough years. And they really need some good things to happen.
Nobody wants to win any more than Michael Waltrip. He's really put a lot of effort into it. And it seems like you just get into those days where no matter what you do, you just can't get something done right or something to go right. Michael right now is 30 laps away from picking up his first win of 1993. There's Terry Labonte. Talk about momentum. Now, he came off his best finish of the year at Darlington last week. He finished 3rd there. Michael trying to improve on that best Bristol finish of 8th. We're in the late laps here at Bristol, Tennessee. The Budweiser 250. Michael Waltrip from Owensboro, Kentucky, showing the way. Back with more after this.
We started a revolution in the streets. And now it's hitting the water. Introducing the Yamaha Wave Blaster. Essentially, it's the world's most radically advanced bike. Now available on the water.
Burt Reynolds for Quaker State.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. You know, when it comes to protecting against friction, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to protecting against viscosity breakdown, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to keeping engines clean, nothing beats Quaker State. Take it from me, for unbeatable protection, nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, just 24 laps remain for Michael Waltrip if he can hold off Terry Labonte to pick up his first Busch Series win of the 1993 season. Labonte now within half a car length.
Yeah, Michael had passed a slower car on the outside, and Labonte got a good run off turn 4. Moved right up on him, but I'll tell you, they better not look back too far, because here comes Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine in the Fiddle Faddle Chevrolet, the Clyde McLeod prepared car. That's how they're running. Waltrip, Labonte, Bodine, Steve Grissom, and Joe Nemechek in the top 5. Jeff Green, Hermie Sadler, Jeff Burton, Richard Lassiter, and David Green rounding out the top 10. As you watch that battle up front.
Robert Presley about to go a lap down. He was one of the contenders not too long ago, being shown in 11th position, but he's about to go a lap down.
Hermie Sadler making a move inside of the car number 8. Sadler takes the 7th spot. You're watching the battle up front. Todd Bodine, 3 wins a year ago as they go beneath the car of Robert Presley and put Presley a lap down. Michael Waltrip is the leader. He has opened up now about a 5 car length separation between himself and Terry Labonte in the car number 14. There's Labonte, the MW Windows sponsored Chevrolet. MW Windows out of Rocky Mount, Virginia.
But look how quickly Labonte caught him back when Michael got in traffic, coming up on the Tracy Leslie car. Leslie moves to the inside, gives him plenty of running room on the outside. Now Michael opens it up once again.
Neither Michael Waltrip or Terry Labonte are running for the series points championship. This could be an important pass for Todd Bodine, who has struggled in the first part of the year. Bodine currently being shown back in 19th position in the points standings.
Now he gets a run on Terry Labonte. Tries to move on the inside, but couldn't quite do it. Going into turn 1. I'm surprised. Labonte went up in that second groove that time, and it worked okay. I'm surprised, Jerry, that we haven't seen other drivers, other than passing, moving up into that second groove. We'll see a lot of it in the Food City 500 here tomorrow.
Leaders going around some of the more heavily damaged cars of Roy Payne and Butch Miller. Good, tight Busch Grand National racing here at Bristol, Tennessee. Terry Labonte. There's a look at Terry. Young man from Corpus Christi, Texas, 36 years of age, and Todd Bodine right behind him is just 29. The younger of the Bodine brothers, Jeff, Brett, and Todd.
Looks like the handle might have gone away a little bit on Terry's car. He's not getting through the turns quite as good as he did a little bit earlier when he was up there challenging Michael Waltrip, and maybe he put the challenge over real strong. Here comes Todd Bodine down on the inside. He got a good run off of turn 4. Can he make it stick? He wiggles a little bit through the turn, keeps the fender up there, but they're coming up on a lap car of Shauna Robinson, and Bodine has the back off.
Boy, Terry Labonte is just so smooth. They call him the Iceman in the Winston Cup garage area. He is so consistent and so smooth. He did not waver an inch in his groove. And Todd Bodine just couldn't get that car to stick.
Now look how quickly Todd comes back up on him. His car is much faster than Terry's car right now, but the masterful job that Terry Labonte is doing driving it is keeping him up there in second at the moment. Meanwhile, Michael Waltrip pulls away from him. Best race on the track right now is for second. We're looking at it. And I think Michael Waltrip hopes that Terry Labonte is able to stay in second place. But he's going to get down to 5 laps to go. I'll bet he's been told that the 34 car is faster than the 14 car off Labonte, but he just simply hasn't been able to get around him, so that sets Michael free up there. No chance of Todd Bodine catching him until he gets around the Terry Labonte car.
As you said, that this battle here that we're watching has allowed Michael Waltrip to pull away by about 20 car lengths. You see Terry Labonte in the car number 14 and Todd Bodine behind him. They are in turn 4. Michael Waltrip, meanwhile, is headed into turn 1.
And here comes Todd Bodine again. He got a great run off of turn 4, but he got it a little bit sideways coming off of the turn, lost traction, and had to back off. Boy, he is driving that car. He's driving his heart out. Todd Bodine is.
Good battle back here between Hermie Sadler in the car number 25 and Jeff Burton. They are battling for 7th and 8th spot. Battles all over this racetrack in the waning laps. Back up front, Michael Waltrip.
Just picking them off one at a time as he catches them, moves around the Tom Petty car, keeps it down as low as he can on the inside. Just 5 laps to go.
5 to go. He has 5 career Busch Grand National Series wins. This would be his 5th start since his last win coming on ESPN at Darlington. And whoa, Hermie Sadler and Jeff Burton mixing it up. And Sadler, just a rookie who is impressing a lot of people. And here's the battle for second spot. Now it's going to heat up in a hurry. Todd Bodine looks to the inside of Terry Labonte. Labonte holds the line up on the banking. 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 this time.
I'm wondering if Terry Labonte maybe has lost a cylinder. He seems to have lost power on the straightaway. He's doing okay in the turns I mentioned earlier that maybe the handle had gone away, but look on the straightaway, Todd Bodine is able to pull up on him, but Labonte then holds him off in the turns.
Whoa, trouble here in the front stretch. One car gets tapped from behind. Richard Lassiter gets a tap. A battle now back as Lassiter's car has spun off the racetrack. No caution flag. Lassiter's another car spins in front of the leader.
And Terry Labonte is spinning around as Tommy Houston had spun up there in the turn. Caution and white is out right now for Michael Waltrip. He'll get the checker the next time around. Terry Labonte gets his car going. He won't finish second, but he still is going to finish pretty good if he can come on around. They're under caution, so I think if his car keeps moving, that he should be able to come on around and maintain whatever position he came out in. Todd Bodine moved up into second place, and Terry Labonte should still be running, I think he's running 4th right now.
Labonte being shown in the 4th place position here. Michael Waltrip has come by to take the checkered flag and win the race. What a wild scramble at the finish as Michael Waltrip gets his 6th career Busch Series victory. I'm not sure they understand what happened, but John Kernan knows that there's one happy crew there, and that's the Michael Waltrip one. John?
Well, Jerry, one of the crewmen told me after Michael took the lead that I couldn't stand in the pits during the rest of the race. He was afraid I'd bring him some bad luck. But Ronnie, you guys had to really survive a lot of crashes out there today. Good job overall.
It looked like a good Saturday night short track somewhere, didn't it? But it's awful fast here, I tell you. I'd like to thank Chuck for letting us come back to Bristol. We didn't get to come here last year, and we always had bad luck here, so it was time. Michael always ran good here. This Pennzoil Pontiac's had a tough couple of days. He wrecked it yesterday practicing after that long cold rain and snow flurries. And I'm just proud that he could win the race.
That's a very happy Ronnie Silver. And Jerry, there's also a very happy man behind the wheel of that race car.
And in honor of his fallen comrade, Alan Kulwicki, who we lost on Thursday night, Michael Waltrip, to the pleasure of this tremendous crowd who stand in silence and wave, and there are tears and a lot of eyes in the stands as Michael took a reverse lap. What Alan Kulwicki coined back in 1988 when he won his first race at Phoenix, Arizona, the Polish victory lap. In honor of Alan Kulwicki, Michael Waltrip heads to victory lane backwards. Watch this last lap here of Michael Waltrip's.
Well, he's coming up on Tommy Houston down on the inside, the blue and white car. He and a couple of other cars there too, and Richard Lassiter gets hit right in front of him and spins down to the inside. Now he just keeps on going around the track as Lassiter spins down to the inside. We'll pick up Michael again now as he heads into turn 3.
Michael says, I dodged one bullet, I'm through. No, I'm not. There goes Tommy Houston right in front of me. Now Michael says, okay, I've missed Houston, and he comes across the track. Here's Terry Labonte. He spins. Todd Bodine spins, gathers it back in. What a lap. I mean, this track has been so tough, and you don't think this track owes Michael Waltrip one? Remember this incident? Take a look here. A few years ago in Busch Series racing action, that is what happened to Michael Waltrip. That car disintegrated coming off turn 2. There was nothing left but a few parts of roll cage and a seat. But as you know the story, Michael Waltrip walked away. And today, he's in victory lane with Benny Parsons. BP?
Yeah, Jerry, Michael's just kind of trying to collect himself a little bit because this, is, I know, is a pretty special moment. He waved to the crowd. Michael? Uh-oh, he's got to get up and wave to all the crowd. Now they can all see him. Hey, Mike. Pretty special day, huh?
It's a shame, you know. I started the same time he did, and a lot of people, you know, might have thought I might have been jealous of all he accomplished, but that's quite the contrary. I was real proud of what he did. He's a true champion. We want to dedicate this race to Alan in the memory of him and all he accomplished, and to others like him, and the Brooks family, and Dan Duncan, and the pilot. You know, it's just tough, but I'm happy to be here. I needed to win, you know. I've been fired 600 times this week, thrown out of my own ride, so everybody says. Of course, my car owner, Chuck Ryder, he's as solid as a rock, and I appreciate the world out of him. I know I can win races, and we won one today, didn't we, Benny? It's a great day. Appreciate Pontiac and Pennzoil. Pennzoil has been a great sponsor. I just hope they'll hang with us. We're going to have a good year.
Hey, Chuck, are you going to fire him this week?
No way. I was never going to do it. We're going to be together a long time. He's a great guy and a great driver.
Well, Michael, I'm glad to see all these firing rumors put to rest. Congratulations.
Yeah, my family was all here, Mom and Daddy and Connie and David and my girlfriend Buffy, who I'm fixing to ask to marry me one of these days. Maybe even today. Will you marry me?
Yeah! Hey, were you serious, Michael?
Yeah.
You were?
I got you a ring in the truck. I just didn't know when to give it to her. I never did it before, so I didn't know how to do it.
Buffy, what about that?
Hey, do you accept? Yeah.
Hey, guys, what do we do now? I don't know what to do now. Jerry, what do I need to do?
I tell you couldn't be with a better couple. He's talking about Chuck and Pat Ryder.
Hey, I got the preacher, Jerry. I got the preacher.
Oh, there's the preacher walking in. He's got some business.
Not today, but like real soon, maybe.
Uh-oh. I tell you, you don't think there is some love in NASCAR among these drivers? The first thoughts of Michael Waltrip climbing into that car as the tears were coming down his face were to his fallen comrade, Alan Kulwicki. Alan Kulwicki, the defending Winston Cup champion. This race is for him. Back in a moment.
Today's metallic paints look beautiful, but can dull over time. Kit Metallic Car Polish makes metallic finishes glow, seals in protection. Nice shine. New Kit Metallic.
When the job is tough, you need the best. And when you need the best, you reach for Channel Lock. For the power. The precision. For just plain counting on, there's only one. Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock tools. Look for this trademark.
At Bristol International Raceway in Bristol, Tennessee, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Budweiser 250 is history, and Michael Waltrip has gone to victory lane for win number 1 in 1993. Our Speed World coverage has been brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is One Tough Motor Oil. And by your local Yamaha dealer, who invites you to see their exciting line of motorcycles, ATVs, and water vehicles. As you take a look at our results, Victory Lane continues, and Michael Waltrip is there celebrating.
And there were 9 cars that finished in the lead lap. Robert Presley, 1 lap down, finishes in 10th place.
Coming back from the back of the pack, Tim Fido, who struggled all afternoon, amazingly gets a top 15 finish. Good job for him. Jason Keller, who had problems late in the race, was running in the top 5 most of the afternoon. He will be credited with a 20th place finish, and that is deceiving.
We see Chuck Bound down in 25th place. Of course, he was leading the race and got tapped and spun out. Others having problems here today.
A lot of racing action yet to come your way tomorrow. Live, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the 33rd Annual Food City 500 from right here in Bristol, Tennessee. Bob Jenkins and all our crew will be on hand to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of that race. Rusty Wallace on the pole tomorrow alongside Brett Bodine. That should be an exciting one. Winston Cup Racing right here on ESPN. Once again, what an afternoon for Michael Waltrip, coming back from adversity from years ago when he nearly destroyed a race car and himself. Wins a race, proposes to a young lady in Victory Lane, and dedicates that win to a fallen comrade. There is the new prospective groom and latest winner in Busch Series competition. For John Kernan and Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating Michael, saying so long from Bristol.